All right, y'all. I don't know what the heck that was about. That was a wild one. Uh, we should be up in a second. Trying to get everything set up over here now. That was definitely crazy. That was definitely crazy. There we go. Start virtual camera. All right, so here we go. I got a couple people here. I'm gonna try to give a few minutes to let a couple people get back in. That was definitely not the way I wanted it to go. Let me see. We got three people in here. Four. All right. Everybody's coming back, it looks like. So we're definitely gonna get going now. I think the last stock that I was about to go to was SE. And I just want to get back to my list again so I can see those stocks. And again, guys, if you got a stock you want me to request, I'm going to repeat it every so often. Just drop that stock in the chat, and I'll get to the stock as soon as I can. If you have any questions, drop the question and I will get to it as soon as I can. Logan, I never had that. I could. I didn't know how that was supposed to go. I do see V. You know what? We're gonna do V because you're right here right now, and everybody else just drop comments. So we're gonna do the stocks that's here first. Checking out V. That's how we'll do it. Looking at V on the daily, this big gap candle. And this candle right here took out the 20 day, the 50 day, the 100-day, and the 200-day EMA all in one move. It was an earnings play. This candle opened at 220.94. It got as high as 228.12. It got as low as 216.10. And it closed at 228 even. So it closed towards the top. It was a big bull candle. It was after a gap up. You could kind of though, and the reason why I say that is because if you look at the chart, you see the big bear candle, and then you see the gap down, and the gap down is a hammer. The next day after that, it's not a pretty candle, but it confirms the hammer. You go higher right here. Then you come back with a green day, again going higher. You come back with a red day, but you still finish higher. So this stock was creating higher highs, and then you get the earnings gap up right here, and it takes you into 228. So the next key area is going to be right here at this 230 area. And if I was to draw a line for you guys, you'll see why that's a key area. Let me see. Get a horizontal line right here. And you'll see this being a key area. Right around this area. We're right at the top of a few candles right here. If you look at in October, you'll see a few candles right here. You'll see a couple candles tried to get through but couldn't keep it. So that 230, you can even call it 231, is a key area for V. If V can push through that 231 area, then you could really get some momentum, and you could probably push that thing up to 235, which would be a pretty big move over 235.50. That would be a big move right there. However, if V does reject right here, then what you want to see is you would like to see them at least hold. Let's see if I can find that area for you. You like to see them at least hold this 226.50 area right here. If it holds that 226.50 area, it still has a possibility of going through that 230. We might just gotta wait a little bit and be a little patient. If it loses that 226 area, then if you in calls, you probably want to take profit by that point. And if you're not in calls and it loses that 226 area, maybe you want to look at puts. The RSI is getting towards being overbought, but V does still have a tiny bit more room to the upside, which is what I believe. Uh, Full disclosure for whoever's new here, my paid options group chat, we are currently already in V calls. Those calls are doing very well, but I do think it's more room. So that's why we stayed in those calls. However, like I said, if it loses that certain area, you definitely want to take profit and get out with what you got. The RSI, like I said, is getting close to being overbought, and the MACD is just getting bullish. And that's a great sign. The fact that the MACD is just getting bullish, that means this thing has room to go. This thing has room to go. So that right there, I'm happy about. And that's really what I'm looking for on V. Also, if you look over at the weekly, you'll see this. this two candle setup right here. Let me focus in on that. That is a bullish engulfing candle right here. You got this red candle, and then you got this big bull candle right next to it. That's called a bullish engulfing candle. It's also called an outside bar. It's also called a three candle. And only thing that means is that you have a lower low on this candle than the prior candle, excuse me, and you have a higher high on this candle than the prior candle. So looking at that three candle right there, that lets me know that we definitely can go further. When you see that bullish engulfing candle, is usually a good sign, and that good sign right there is definitely what I'm waiting for to see it contribute you into this week to come. The RSI is pretty neutral right here, and the MACD is bullish right here. So I like how that weekly looks. And then if I get over to the monthly, I see we was riding on that 20-day EMA, and we pushed up a bit. And now the question becomes, can we get enough momentum to maybe even create new 52-week highs? That's to be determined. But even if you're not being greedy, even if you're just being hungry, even if you're being ambitious without being greedy, that 235 is the area that I'm really looking at this week. I would love to see Visa at 235. So that's what I'm playing for. But I got my exit strategy just in case that doesn't happen. So that'll give you the answers on V. You can't hear me. That's not good. Is anyone else having issues with hearing me? If you are, let me know. Uh, E-Man, you said I'm breaking up. Pam said, Pam is hearing me. Pam said, how do we know where the 52-week high is? So in general, I know where the 52-week high is because I look at these stocks every day. If you don't look at the stocks every day and you want to know where the 52-week high is, you can just look at the chart. So I see right here, this candle is the highest candle. So the 52-week high is 252.67. I know that from the chart, but I know that because I look at these stocks every day. And trading, you should be looking at these stocks every day. Even if you're not actually trading the stock, still look at it every day and see what it's doing. How high is it going? How low is it going? Is it pulling back? Is it bullish? Is it consolidating? All these things you should know about stocks, even if you're not actually trading the stock at that time. So that's what I want you guys to look for. Mike and Ravina, y'all can hear me? That's good. Again, if I got new people here, definitely chime in and let me know you knew. Definitely let me know if you have any questions about anything that I'm saying is going to sound foreign to you. But the more that you chart, the more that you look at these things, the more you're going to understand. So that's what we're going to do. Let's see here. Round two, yes, sir. You're right. NVIDIA. Someone asked me to chart NVIDIA. So we're going to pull up NVIDIA, guys. NVDA. That is the ticker. And again, multiple time frames. So I always start out on the daily. If you're a new charter, multiple time frames is what you want to chart on. I'm going to say that a few times because I want you to remember it and make it a part of your daily go along with how you chart. So looking at NVIDIA, I see we've been riding along this purple line. This purple line is the 200-day EMA. So that's a very important line for a lot of stocks. If you lose that 200-day EMA, you become bearish. If you gain that 200-day EMA after you lose it, or if you bounce to it and then go back up again, you can become bullish a lot of times. So right here, we've been kind of consolidating, playing around, going up and down off of that 200-day EMA. And that 200-day EMA right now is around 229.59, right around that area. So when I look at this candle, this last candle, I see this candle open at 220.01. It got as high as 228.58. It got as low as 212.96. And it closed at 228.40. So it closed towards the top. It was a bullish day for NVIDIA. However, it's still below that 200-day EMA. Now, we've been flirting with that all last week. 1, 2, 3, 4 days, 5 days, all last week. We've been flirting with that 200-day EMA. If NVIDIA is going to be bullish, it has to take out that 200-day EMA first and foremost. But on top of that, I can't really get interested right here. I need NVIDIA to go through this candle right here. This candle is 240.57. So I told you guys, I always say the high of the candle. I always say the top of the candle for calls, the bottom of the candle for puts. So if I'm looking at the top of the candle, that matters to me. I'm looking for Nvidia at 229 and become bullish, but I'm not looking to buy calls until it passed 240.57. Past 240.57, I want to buy calls on Nvidia. If Nvidia were to be bearish and pull back, then I probably look at the bottom of this candle right here. And the bottom of this candle is 208.08, or excuse me, 208.88. So that's where I will be bearish at. Now, I don't think that's going to happen with Nvidia. I am bullish here in general. So I'm going to set an alert, and I'm going to show you guys what the alerts look like. But before I do that, the MACD is bearish right now, and hopefully that switches, but that's why we're not jumping in. By the time we get to that 240.57, that MACD is start looking a whole lot better. So that's what we want. The RSI right now is completely oversold, but it looks like it could be getting ready to turn. And if it does, we want to be there to benefit from that. If you look at the weekly, looking at the weekly chart, you'll see we gapped all the way down to the 20-day, to the 50-day EMA. And we haven't been to the 50-day EMA since the COVID lows in March, late March 20th and March 27th. So it's been a while since Nvidia has been this low, and that is a good sign that it's going to bounce back because it doesn't usually trade this low. We just got to wait for the bounce. That's the key. You don't want to be over ambitious, which is kind of what I was mentioning to Dustin on the last live that we had. You don't want to be over ambitious and just jump in. If anything, you want to wait and jump in when the time is right after you see this thing fully reversing. And then if I look at the monthly, you'll see a couple big bear candles right there. That's definitely not a pretty sight. Uh, but it was good for this RSI because this RSI was super oversold way up into the 80s. It pulled back and now it's down to that 60 area. So that could be the pullback that it needs to recalibrate and make another run. The MACD right here is still pointed downward, so you keep an eye on that. But like I said, guys, I do like NVIDIA here, and I said I like it above 240.57. So I'm going to create an alert for that. And this is one of the things I like about FinViz. I only have two eyes, so I can't watch every stock, right? But what I can do is I can set an alert for the stock, and when it hits this price, FinViz is going to send me an email and say, hey, Options Boss, go check out this stock because your alert came up. And then I can go check out the stock, even if I forgot about it. I can go check out the stock. I can see my alert, and I can see if I still want to jump into play or not. So 240.57, I'm never going to pick a weird number like that. So I'm going to 40. I'm going to say 241. Above 241, NVIDIA is bullish for me, and I want to get in. And then I set my alert and I save it, and that's that. That's how you do that, and that's one of the perks of having FinViz is you can do that. So let's see here. What else we got? I got a couple of things. All right. Yeah, there we go. And I also had Tesla and SPY. So I'm going to check out Tesla and SPY real quick for you guys. Tesla, pull that up, see how it looks. Again, and Tesla, big gap down, big bad not I don't want to say bad earnings, but earnings wasn't as strong as they hoped. So they gapped down, they lost the 200 day, and then we had this candle. And this candle right here opens at 831.76, got as high as 857.50, got as low as 792.01, and it closed at 846.35. So this one went super red, still managed to come back and close bullish. And that's the power of Tesla. Tesla will have big swings like that. And if you so happen to time it right and you're in one of those big swings, Tesla will change your portfolio in a matter of 1 hour or 2 hours because that thing can move so fast. So looking at this, you got the big gap, which is a hammer candle. Now, new traders, if you hear, let me explain to you what a hammer is. A hammer is this green candle right here. So when you see a stock on a downtrend, which means it's going down, which is what Tesla is doing, and then you'll get a candle with a whole lot of wick. Like I'm gonna move my mouse over, but if you look at this candle, you'll see a lot of wick right there, right? And then you see the candle like at the top or towards the top. So when you see that and it's on a down and the stock itself is on a downtrend, that's referred to as a hammer candle. There's two types of hammers you're going to see. There's a red hammer. When you see a red hammer, that's a good sign that the stock could be getting ready to bounce and make a move up again. So again, if you got your pen and paper, write down a hammer candle can be on it is on a downtrend and it's going to be red or it's going to be green. That's the second hammer you're going to see is a green hammer, which is what we have here. Now, why you call it a hammer is simple. You got that wick right there, which is like the handle to your hammer, and then you got the candle right here, which is like the mallet part of your hammer. So that's why they call it a hammer candle. Now, when you see the green hammer, that is a very good sign. That's even better than the red hammer. That's a very good sign that the stock could be reversing. So we do have a hammer on Tesla. Now you ask yourself, what do you do when you see the hammer? Do you just get calls the very next day because you see that the stock is going to reverse? And the answer to that is no, you don't. You wait and you make sure that the next day is a bullish day. So if the next day is a bullish day, that will be called confirmation of the hammer. So when the hammer confirms itself, then you can get in and say, hey, let's get some calls right here. But you never just want to get a hammer and jump right in because the hammer doesn't always confirm itself. And if the hammer don't confirm itself, then you got in that play thinking you had something and it really wasn't there. So you see the hammer, which is what we see from Friday. Now, what I'm doing is Monday, I want a bullish day on Monday. If I got a bullish day on Monday, I could jump into Tesla calls late Monday and swing it into Tuesday, or I can just jump in early Tuesday, however I so choose. But a hammer is a great sign. So now I see this hammer. I see this hammer takes us right below the 200 day where we finish at. The 200 day EMA looks like it's at about 851, you could call it. And this candle right here, the high of this candle, well, this candle closed at about 846. So now what I'm looking for is I'm looking for this candle to be bullish the next day. Get that 200 day back, get the top of this candle back, which is 857.50. And if I see it get the top of that candle back and it's above the 200 day, maybe I'm thinking about Tesla calls now. Tesla do got room to move. And if I'm thinking about Tesla calls, above 857.50 would be a good sign. But again, you don't just want to jump right in. You want to give that thing time to play out a bit and make sure it confirms. And if it does, Tesla has big room to the upside. The next area, if you got in above 857, the next area of any type of resistance is around this 899 area, and that's not strong resistance there. That's just one touch. So you definitely got some room. If you were looking for a multi-touch area of any real resistance, you're probably talking about 937-ish, and that's like $100 move right there. Considering where it's at, that's about a $90 move. Let me say, I don't want to over exaggerate. See, that's a big move. If you buy an option and the thing move $100, you're gonna make a lot of money today. Let me just tell you that. So I'm gonna set an alert for myself at 857.50. And again, it's not to say that I'm going to get in or my tier 3 channel membership squad in Tesla calls. And guys, when I give you this game right here, use this to formulate sharpens iron. That's what this does.